Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're gonna go ahead and go over the Half-Blood Prince, and this is from a Slytherin's perspective. Okay, I finished this one last night, and I was laughing out loud whenever Harry... Let me see if I can find it again. Here it is. Okay, whenever Harry was giving Snape his potions book, and it said, "Why does it have the name Runa Waslib written on the front corner?" And then Harry goes, "That's my nickname." Just like without skipping a beat, just like completely. I was cracking up so hard at that. Like I just sat there on the couch, like I closed it and I was laughing so hard. Like probably the highlight of the book to me. I just thought it was really funny. Let's go ahead and get on with, you know, the book part. For the beginning of the book, it took me a good while, probably a week, just to read the first 50 to 75 pages, because it was just very boring to me. Snape makes the unbreakable vow with Miss Malfoy, and I don't care. He's a new minister and everything, so it's just like, I don't know. I was just kind of bored by it, so it took me a very long time to actually get through. And then we have Excessive Phlegm, which honestly, I was like, that's kind of messed up. Y'all gave her that nickname. She didn't deserve it. She's so sweet. I love Fleur. And whenever Bill, with the whole like mangledness or whatever, and Miss Weasley, I don't know what she was thinking. She probably was just like, you know, well, Fleur is only with Bill because he's good looking or something like that. But I mean, that's not why you're with people, you know? And then whenever Fleur was like trying to like mend Bill's wounds and stuff, just getting irritated at Miss Weasley. And Miss Weasley finally saw, you know, like, oh, like she likes my son for his character. It's just like, yeah, obviously, like why else would she be marrying your son? None of the girls really like her. And I don't know if that's because she was going to marry Bill because she was going to be in the family, or because she was very pretty. Like, I don't know what it was. They didn't like her, and I was like, guys, that's kind of messed up. She's gonna be your family regardless, so you should probably at least start trying. Anyway, then we have Draco's detour. He goes to Nocturne Alley and into Boats and Barns, I don't know. The entire time he's trying to get that cabinet repaired. And honestly, we all saw it coming. I didn't know the room requirement, though, had that whole thing to where it was like just a throwaway stuff room. How about, you know, like recycling maybe, guys? But yeah, so anyway, so they had that little room. Draco would go in there and he'd go ahead and work on the cabinet. I don't see anything wrong with it. You know, just little extracurricular activities, and then, you know, he used it to bring Death Eaters into the school, which was not very cool, but, you know, it happens, I guess. The Half-Blood Prince. Okay, so whenever Harry found out that it was Snape, he was, like, so torn. And I thought it was actually pretty funny, because he was just like, well, like, this book helped me out a lot and everything in potions, but also with, you know, like, well, Snape did just kill Dumbledore. So there was that. Harry was kind of torn with that, which I was like, well, that's kind of funny because, you know, you didn't have a problem with it before. Had it been Voldemort's book or whatever, you never know. I mean, even Ginny was like, dude, that book's giving you help, which is great, but be careful, you know? Okay, so whenever they go back through the memories with the pensive and everything with Dumbledore, I thought that was actually really cool and really useful. I don't understand how Harry didn't see that knowing the background of your enemy is useful. It's something that you should be knowing. So yeah, anyway. Harry was just kind of like, well, I mean, Dumbledore's showing me these memories and everything, but I don't know what the point of it is. And also, Dumbledore needed Harry so that he could get the memory from Slughorn. And he needed Harry for getting Slughorn into the school. So pretty much like this entire book, he just needs Harry because he's a rare piece. He's like a collectible, you know? Wow, my hands are so white, guys. I'm cold. I'm very pale. Like, I'm just... Okay, anyway. So, the memories and everything that Dumbledore and Harry are going through, there's a few things in there to where it's like, I think Harry should have probably guessed, you know, like, yeah, well, obviously, he's the heir of Slytherin. So, like, we know that. We see that, you know, his mom was in love with a muggle, and so that's why his name was Tom and everything, and he has just a resentment to anything that's, you know, closely related to him, like someone with the same name. No. Someone who is, you know, like a muggle, No. Voldemort doesn't like things that are similar to him, but he likes collecting trophies, which I just found kind of like a weird clash, but you know, it's whatever. That's just a little bit about Voldemort. I think from a Slytherin's perspective on this book, overall, had it been Harry being in Slytherin instead of Gryffindor, I think it would have been a lot easier to find the artifacts to be like, wait a second, no, this Horcrux is actually something that was already found. Or, well, rumor has it in the Slytherin common rooms, you know, blah, 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 about the Horcruxes, or, you know, something, because I just feel like Slytherin would have just been much more of a helpful house to be in, especially during this series. So yeah, Harry pretty much is in like the opposing house, so there's not too much knowledge, I guess you could say there, which is a little bit irritating because, you know, I feel like there should be some type of like, hey, this is something that like helps out, but whatever. I mean, he literally chose to be in Gryffindor, so I'm still salty. Sluggish memory. Okay, so Slughorn alters his memory, which, I mean, obviously he would. Something that makes him look bad, but at the same time, I don't think that he should have altered the memory. I think he should have just gave it and been honest and everything. Once again, it puts like a black spot on Slytherin because it's just like, well, obviously they aren't honest. Even whenever they grow up and they're teachers and everything and they're expected to be completely honest and open with everybody, they aren't. And it's just like, no, wait, that was just one teacher, all right, guys? But then Harry eventually got the memory, like I said, because he's a collectible. He's like an action figure to Slughorn. Also, had Harry been in Slytherin, he probably would have picked up some traits from other kids and everything and been more cunning and not have to use his Felix Felicis to go and, like, yeah, he wouldn't have to use the Felix Felicis to go get the memory and everything from Slughorn. He would have just been cunning enough, known what to say. Because, I mean, even Tom Riddle was in Slytherin, and he knew pretty much what to say to get some information out of Slughorn for the Horcruxes. So obviously Slughorn is going to be a little bit more, you know, like defensive and everything whenever the subject is brought up. But now we see pretty much that because of like the traits and everything that he adapted, pretty much, he was able to get what he came for. And Harry, not being so smooth in that at all, did not get what he came for, and he had to have a little bit of extra help, which, I mean, like, that's fine. That's fine. I get it. You know, you can't always be persuasive, I guess is the word. Yeah, so you can't always be persuasive, I guess, about it, but Harry just wasn't at all in any way persuasive. He just kind of came out and he was like, what do you know about Horcruxes? And Slughorn was like, I see what you're doing here. No, sir. And Harry was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll attempt to try. And so he stayed after. Harry, you could have been way more smooth about it, and you probably could have gotten the information out, not had to use your Felix Felicis, and then, you know, had it dispersed up amongst the rest of the DA, would have probably had more luck, and they probably would have got Snape. And, you know, it happens though. And then he accidentally maims, I guess. I don't know if he killed Draco, but he maims him pretty bad with that spell, and I was actually impressed. I know the attack was done on a Slytherin. From a Slytherin's perspective, like, seeing that attack, I would have been like, Harry attacked him for no reason. Yeah, they had their wands drawn and everything. Yeah, I guess Draco was about to use an Unforgivable. But you really had to experiment with that on him. That wasn't cool at all. But from a Slytherin's perspective the other way, that was really cool that he was just like, you know what? Screw it. We're gonna go ahead and test the spell today. That's happening, and it turned out to be a really badass spell. I don't know why he wouldn't use that more often. He should have learned to, you know, like, use spells without saying them. That would have definitely been useful. Running to Snape at the end, and Snape was just like, you know, stop it, Harry. You're just embarrassing yourself, really. I don't think he said that, but, you know. Harry continued to say the spells aloud, which gives the other person a little bit of a heads up of like, hey, this is what's coming up. And Snape was like, Harry, just stop, okay? And Harry was like, well, he only tried to use that one once. If I were him and, you know, like right after Dumbledore had died and I was, you know, unparalyzed, yeah, it's gonna be hard to move because of the fear, but like, I'm gonna move and I'm gonna kill everybody here. So just be looking out for that. So yeah, anyway, that happened. The cave, oh yeah, so they go and they find a Horcrux, but it's actually a fake Horcrux, which now we're just left with, who has the real one? Okay, so they got two of the Horcruxes, I believe. Necklace, the book, then of course it's, you know, Harry and Voldemort. So they're really only looking for two more Horcruxes, But they think they're looking for 3 or 4. Well, 4 is technically Voldemort. They're looking for a few more Horcruxes in the next book. For the most part, I think they did great finding what they could find, you know? Even though the last one was kind of a waste of time and life. So there's that. The last 25 pages took me a good while to read. Still, like, me accepting Dumbledore's death and everything. Of course, I was like, yeah, he's gonna die. It's gonna happen to the best of us. But at the same time, the way that they had done the funeral and everything was so respectful. I was very happy with it. Oh yeah, and we still need to find out who R.A.B. is. Let me see. Oh yeah, and then McGonagall gets appointed as headmistress. And I think we were all happy about that. Not happy in how it came about, but like happy that, you know, like it was McGonagall. Because she's amazing and we all love her. Even though I'm a Slytherin and she's like head of the opposite house, I'm glad it was McGonagall. She is very much more organized. The White Tomb, literally every creature came out to go ahead and pay the respect for Dumbledore. I was very touched. I was very touched. I think the story ends well. Everyone is grieving. Everyone is sad. Okay, that doesn't sound like it ends well. Like everyone's like grieving and sad and everything, which gives them motivation for the next book because they're like, I don't think we're gonna open up the school again. And then we have the next one, the Deathly Hallows, and we're gonna see what goes on. Will they reopen the school? Will they not? Will Harry defeat Voldemort? Will Draco and Snape return? Find out in the next book, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Wow, I didn't realize how dramatically different these books were in size. And it ends, the last 3 words are all was well, all is well, all that well, all was well. So it obviously has a happy ending, right guys? There's gonna be no deaths, no families split apart or anything. So I think we're gonna be very promising in this next one. That is it for my Slytherin perspective on the Half-Blood Prince. And if you like this, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more of these videos, the other like 5 books are on here on my channel along with like makeup tutorials and everything for different houses. I think the next video for y'all is going to be a Slytherin makeup tutorial, which I have already done, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to do like something slightly different. I don't know how different it'll be. And then we're gonna go ahead and go with our last one, and that'll be the last of Harry Potter for the year, which will actually probably be like about the end of the year. So yeah, anyway, if y'all wanna see more, we just have 1 book left. We have a makeup tutorial left as well, and I will see y'all next week. Bye guys.